A big announcement this morning from the Prime Minister, Tom, concerning the approval of the Pfizer vaccine and the fact it will roll out from late February, with the AstraZeneca vaccine to roll out a month later. Given at the moment there are few to no cases of COVID-19 in Australia, and at this press conference, Scott Morrison indicated that having the vaccine will not change things dramatically with the various restrictions in place because of COVID, you'd have to wonder why, unless you were a healthcare worker or in an at-risk group, you would be in a hurry to take the vaccine in Australia at the moment. Here's the Prime Minister saying the vaccine is no silver bullet when it comes to international borders opening up and mask wearing and the like in 2021. And let's also hear from Health Minister Greg Hunt talking about millions of doses being distributed this year.
Let me be very clear. This year, 2021, will require us to continue to be vigilant. It will continue to require us to be engaging with all sorts of COVID-19 arrangements that can further mitigate the risk of transmission and keeping Australians safe, keeping livelihoods, keeping Australia as open as possible. Once the vaccines start, that doesn't mean you can jump on a plane to Bali the next day. It doesn't mean that the masks disappear.
We're looking at 80,000 plus per week at the initial outset, and that's why we're presuming 80,000 would be available. And then, as we've indicated, later on we'll have AstraZeneca International from early March is the current guidance, and then AstraZeneca domestic at the volume of approximately 1 million a week.
The PM and the others at the press conference gave the impression they are just not sure how this will go, and the PM pledged to update Australians as much as possible on, as he put it, the swings and roundabouts as the vaccine rolls out. Sounds like a suck-it-and-see situation for all of us, including for our leaders. The Health Department Secretary Brendan Murphy saying they are waiting for further advice before making recommendations around the use of the vaccine for older Australians and pregnant women.
For the very elderly and frail, I think that will need a very careful clinical decision. That's something that would need to be where the risks versus the benefits of vaccination need to be carefully considered. So the vaccine is registered for all ages over 16, but there will be specific advice that ATAGI will be producing around particularly people who are very frail and close to end of life, which is that group that had the issues in Norway. There is really no data on, theoretically, the risk of this vaccine, Pfizer or AstraZeneca, on pregnancy is probably very low. You note that the US and the UK have different recommendations about pregnancy. We will be getting advice from ATAGI, and it's advice that's really just going to be based on the best guess of what the risks are at the moment, and that's coming very shortly before the vaccine is administered.
Well, there was speculation around last week that the vaccine would not go to those over 80 after deaths in Norway, the Pfizer vaccine that is. But the government has satisfied those deaths were not related to the vaccine. They're just awaiting yet further advice confirming that. I think a lot of Australians will support this cautious approach. The reason the vaccine is for over 16s only is, I'm told, there is not enough in terms of clinical trials as to the evidence on the effects on children of taking it, Tom.